Hi, my name is Jessica Crabtree, and I work for Southwestern City Schools. And when I started looking into finding the AUP for our district, I was surprised at how difficult it was to find. It's not something that is easily accessible for teachers within the district, even though we have access to it if we just find the right channels to get our AUP. However, I do feel like a lot of that is very well written and not only encompasses the acceptable use policy for our students, it also addresses issues with the staff and other users and volunteers as well. So I think the document itself is pretty well written, but there are a couple changes that I have made, and I have bolded them and put them in red. The first section up here talks about the privileges, basically just going through what you are allowed to do on the internet and in the Southwestern City School Access, and what is acceptable uses. And this kind of encompasses the idea of it, but there is a breakdown of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable under the network etiquette later on throughout the document. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to the major changes that I did make. I do want to highlight under our training portion that staff, students, volunteers are trained within our district to basically pay attention to and try to recognize different cyberbullying issues, and that it is unlawful and there will be consequences that will be taken. That's one of the few points that is touched in this section, but it is also addressed multiple times throughout the document. Under the network etiquette is where I really started to add in a couple things I think that we were missing. Um, the major point that was addressed with the network etiquette was basically what you should and should not be doing. It did hit the majority of what would be expected of our students, staff, and volunteers within our district for things such as how to keep your password and what is acceptable use, such as getting on the internet and using it for educational purposes, and other things that are not accepted, like harassing other staff, students, volunteers, or anybody with outside of the district, or threatening or in any abusive way whatsoever. One part that I did add um, was really hitting on the unacceptable use of staff and student websites. Our staff and student websites are something that are used on a daily basis within our school, as long as our technology is up and running for the day. I know myself personally, I have a staff website, and a lot of the same issues that were hit in the network etiquette is also hit in our unacceptable uses for a web page. However, it goes into more detail about what would be accepted for students and staff and what is not accepted. So examples of this would be promoting alcohol or cigarette, tobacco, use of inappropriate jokes or graphics. A couple of the other things that are addressed are not allowing students or staff to contain full names or addresses, um, or phone numbers, for that matter, of any of Southwestern City Schools employees, students, or volunteers for privacy. It also addresses the issue of making sure that nothing is copyrighted or trademarked material from other websites, so we are not plagiarizing other material, or our students are not plagiarizing other material. And lastly, it tells us that it includes a statement or other items that support or or oppose a candidate for public office. So we cannot promote anybody, obviously, for an election, tax levy, or a bond issue. Another issue that I wanted to hit a little bit more within our document was the security. Even though there is a very brief paragraph on our network security, I wanted to add a couple bullet points. I thought it was important that the ownership of all files will remain with Southwestern City School District was included in this document because that is something that is or that will happen if it is up on the server or up on or a web page within our district. It automatically remains with the district, and the district webmaster reserves the rights to modify any district page at any time. So even if a student or a staff member has a web page put in place, it is the webmaster's prerogative if they want to change anything that they see appropriate or inappropriate with that web page. And lastly, the district reserves the rights to terminate serving and or all pages at any time. So if we, as a staff or a student, is not following the guidelines that are listed above for acceptable use and unacceptable use, the staff master or district has the opportunity to terminate that website altogether. The last thing that I really hit on within this document that I feel like we were missing as a staff was a consent form. Since our AUP was something that was so hard to locate for myself, I know that our parents and students are not able to locate this very easily. So I felt like if this was out there, that we should also have a consent form that goes along with it, just so we would have it on file as a district for our students and our staff members. So for our students, I went ahead and made a consent form for them and their parents to sign. And the consent form's basically just saying that they understand the document that is listed above and giving us all of their information as to which student we are talking about and what school they are going to and who their parent or guardian is. We also have a portion down here for the parent and guardian to sign, because obviously they need to sign for their minor, that they understand and agree with all of the policies that are put in place and the educational plan behind those policies that are listed in our AUP. So basically, I felt like overall our district has done a great job of creating an AUP, but I do feel like we do need to make it more accessible and use it more within our district, just to make sure that all staff, students, and volunteers are on the same page and follow the acceptable use policy. Thank you.